Hello, I'm Don Hall, and this is Don Hall Works YouTube. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I make these multi-sided boxes. This one, in fact, is 5-sided, but I'm going to make a 6-sided box for you. And I'm going to use a template I made. So let's take a look and see how to make a template. Here's the drawing I made to go by to cut out my guide when I cut out the pieces out of the clay. Now, the sides are 6 inches by 4 inches, and it ends up the middle, the 6-sided part in the middle ends up being 6 3/4 inches across. The 60 degrees is the measurement to get them going in the right direction. In order to determine where to make these lines to make sure it is 60 degrees, I use the protractor. There's a small hole right here that I lay down on the corner that I want to determine, line it up, and then I can just count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 degrees. That's how I know how far apart these to make these. And then the roof, 5 inches by 4 inches. The bottom, the foot, is 4 inches by 2 inches with a 2-inch circle cut out of the middle of it. I rolled out this slab. I'm going to use a needle tool to cut it out. Now, if you have questions about how to do slabs, there's a couple of videos on my channel that explain this in detail. One is called Hand-Built Pottery with Kira, which is very good, demonstrates how you can make a slab without using a slab roller. But if you are using a slab roller, there's another video on my channel that's called Slab Roller 101 that you can watch, and it'll tell you how to make these nice slabs. Alright, so there's the floor and the walls. Now I'm going to cut out the roof and the foot that goes around the bottom. Now I'm going to need 6 of these for the roof. Remember, they were, what was it, 4 inches wide and 5 inches high. So there's 3 of them. And there's the foot. I'm going to cut out 6 of these as well. And then when I get that done, I'll show you how to put it all together. All right, here they are, all cut out. And the nice thing about what I'm showing you here, this project, is that if you can figure this out and start and make one of these, it'll open up the ability for you to make countless other projects using the same techniques. Now I'm going to use my corner tool to cut out all the sides that are going to fit together. Now, if you're wondering what this tool is and how I'm using it and why, there is a good video on my channel called Pottery Corner Tools How To. Now I'm going to go around and I'm going to do all the sides that are going to fit together on all the parts. That does not include the bottom of the roof or the top of the roof or the bottom or the top of the foot. Only the sides. Now this is a 30 degrees corner because when I hook two 30 degrees corners together, it'll make a 60 degrees corner. And that's how it works. All right, I've gone around and scored and slipped all these edges here. And what I did is I have a little tool here, just a plastic ruler that I cut off at 4 inches that I needed. I put a little indentation in where I'm going to fold them. Now you don't want to get too excited about this and push down too far, so you make, but it does help when you fold it up to make it fold nice and easy. Now this has all been scored and slipped, so I'm going to fold the first one up. And I like to have a little tool handy here, just a little flat piece of wood to get it to the right spot. And then pinch these corners. And when I get them all turned up, I will then go around on the inside and brace them up and make them a little bit stronger. So it only takes a minute to do this. Here we go. Oh. I'm rushing a little bit for the camera, but you get the idea. A little bit of fussing, that'll all fit together quite nicely. So I'm rolling out some snakes now to reinforce these corners on the inside. I use this tool here. You could just use your finger if you want. You want to be sure you really support the corner on the outside while you're doing this. And at this point, I don't have to worry too much about how neat this looks in here, because after I open it up, after I get the roof on, open it up, I'll need to go back in and clean that up. So I'm going to go ahead now and go around and do the rest of these. I'm going to work on the roof now. I've scored and slipped all these pieces really good. And I'm going to see, this is a little tricky to get them to all stay together the way you want them. At this point, I'm just going to put them together like this and let them kind of attach to each other and dry out. And what I'm going to do is attach them on here, and then later on in a minute I'm going to cut the roof off, and I'll go ahead and I'll fix it on the inside. So hopefully, if I cut this right, measured it right, this should fit on here. This is the demonstrator's worst nightmare, when you make something and it doesn't quite fit. But I think this should fit on here. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. Almost looks like I know what I'm doing. All right. I'm going to just sort of mess with this a little bit, let it set up for a little while, maybe 10 minutes or so, and then I'll demonstrate how to cut this off so the lid will come off on this box I'm making here. Alright, that looks pretty good. Here's another example of something you can do once you get to this shape. I'm not going to make a birdhouse today. I'm going to make a box. And so at this point I need to cut the lid off the top of the box. Now I have this tool. It's just a piece of plywood I cut at an angle on the top, because when I cut the top off, I want it going at an angle so that the lid will sit on the box and won't fall off. Now, the way I do this, I put my felling knife in there like so. I get to the corner, I go out this way. I do this all the way around. But on the final one, I do it a slightly different way. I like to have a little notch so that you'll always know which direction the top goes back on. Now, so for this one, which is the final cut, I'm going to leave a spot in the middle, and I'm just going to use a nickel to make a circle that I can follow, so that when I put it back together, I will know which side goes where. Alright, so I've gone all the way around, cut it all the way around, and that's what it looks like on the inside. I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to fill up all these cracks with little snakes. I'm going to put them all in there, smush them out, and clean this all up real nice. Then I'll go back in to here and clean that up as well. After I get that done, we'll flip it over and I'll show you how to put the foot on. I've cleaned up the inside a bit, and I'm going to just set this on here, and oh my goodness, it's stuck. There we go. I'm going to set this aside now and just let it get a little bit harder. And in the meantime, I'm going to put the feet together. So all the edges have been scored and slipped. And it's the same idea. I'm going to make this, I'm going to attach it, and then I'm going to make it so that it's all clean and put some extra strength in all the corners. Let's see if it'll actually sit on there. There we go. I'm going to clean it all up now and make it all fit together nice. It's getting a little dried out, so I'm going to give it a little spritz. This clay here is getting pretty stiff. It's been sitting out for a while, but I'm going to go ahead now and fix up all these corners make it a little stronger. Like so. Just like before, I'm going to not worry about this a whole lot till I get it all put together. Then I'll come back and clean this all up, make it nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead here and scratch the bottom and the foot and see if I can put it on here. Now there it is. Now I need to put a good snake around the bottom on the inside. Lock this in place. Alright, so I'm going to go around here and make this all nice and neat and make this all tight. The last part I'm going to do here is, I don't like this line where the two meet, so I made a little snake that I'm going to force in there and try to clean that up a little bit. By supporting from the inside, I push this clay down into that crack, pushing it all the way around, and like so. And then what I'll do is I'll take a rib and try to smooth that out a little bit. I'll mess with it for a while till I get it nice and smooth. Like so. Anyway, this is the last step I do, and I'll fuss with it a little bit here and there, make sure everything's nice and tight and straight. But that's how I do it. That's how I make a six-sided ceramic box. Well, there it is. That's how you make a multi-sided box with a pointy roof. And hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, it would be great if you'd subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching.